Todd from Woodturning Tool Store, and with another video for another end grain natural edge bowl. This one is turned thin and more of a traditional sort of bowl shape from a natural edge. A little unfortunate problem though is it's got a hole in the bottom. So as you can see, it's punched through. The pith was right there in the middle, and I didn't have it quite properly supported on the back side of the jam chuck, and so I punched through a little bit there. So we'll make another video fixing this, because I plan to kind of put a little plug in there with a tenon, maybe put a foot on this bowl. We'll see how that works out. I don't know if it's going to work out, but that'll be another video. This video is going to show making this thing and some of the tools I've used, the new Todd Raines tools, hook toolbar with Michael Hosluck hook tool, as well as the Todd Raines tool half-round toolbar using the teardrop T1 high-speed steel scraper. So those toolbars will be out here. They're on the website now for sale. They're getting manufactured right now. Should be available to ship the week after Father's Day. So I think that's June 19th or something like that. So a couple of weeks and they'll be shipping. So take a look at the video. Hope you enjoy. Please subscribe, make comments, and let me know what you think. And if you have any other ideas for projects that you want me to do or try, just let me know. Till next time, take care. Bye. Happy turning. Okay, so we've got this blank of elm on here. It's about 9-10 inches in diameter and probably about 5-6 inches in depth. This piece had been soaking in pentacryl for about 8 days and then drying for another 20 to 30 days after that. So it's kind of got a wet texture to it, but it's not water wet. So here I am just with a bowl gouge, just peeling off the area for the tenon, and then just using the parting tool here to define square shoulders for the tenon. I've got a one-way profile jaws I'm going to be using. Just use the big bowl gouge to rough out the shape on the backside and get it kind of where it's somewhat bowl shaped, leaving a bit of that natural edge. This piece is a bit egg shaped, so it's a little difficult to cut. And just mounting in that big 4-inch jaws of the one-way stronghold chuck, and going to finish profiling the back side a little bit more to rebalance and re-true it up. Not much there to see, unfortunately, from this viewpoint, but it's a 5/8 bowl gouge, and really just feeling the back side with the heel of the bevel. Here I'm using my new Todd Raines tools flat half-round bar with the teardrop scraper in it to scrape the back side of this thing. It's great. It follows the contours really well. I don't have a handle on it because I just kind of want to get a nice close-up short grip on it, so I just use it without a handle, and the teardrop scraper oriented with the sort of larger round end, and then put it at an angle, at a shear scraping angle, and it does really quite well. Here's a closer view of that on the back side of the bowl. So you get that skew angle, get that rounded edge in there. This light passes across the back side. Again, this wood is wet, so it's not going to get a really shiny, smooth cut. It's going to be a little bit fuzzy, but it's actually ready to sand probably at about 120, 150. So it does really well. that's a great little scraper to get out those final bumps. So now we're ready to do the face side. So you can see it's kind of egg-shaped, so it is a bit bumpy here in the first couple of cuts. Just using that big bowl gouge again, and facing off the top edge of the bowl. When you get the gouge in the right orientation, it peels like a skew. I've cleared out some of the center and started to drill with the big gouge, drilling to depth. So I stopped the lathe, check that down with just a thumb mark, and do a sort of a best guess on the depth of it. Here's the hook tool and the hook toolbar. That's Michael Hosluck hook tool in the Todd Raines Tools hook tool bar, and we're just taking the first cuts, and it just takes a bit of time, just get that bevel rubbing, and then once you get it going, it takes wood away very quickly. This is a bevel rubbing cut, and cutting end grain this way from the inside out follows the grain direction, so we're getting a very, very clean surface on this cut. Very little tear out, actually no tear out at all. I'll just speed the camera up a little bit and you can kind of see some of the action. So we'll stop and we'll take a look. You can see it's a very clean cut. It's almost shiny in the way that it comes out. There's no torn grain whatsoever. So here's a closer look. We start the tool at about 12:30 down at the bottom of the hole, and swing the handle from left to right as we go up the side of the bowl, keeping that bevel engaged to cut the wood away. You'll notice that the wood intersects the blade at sort of a shearing angle, and that gets the best cut, safest, easiest cut to control. If you get a big chunk of wood cutting more of at a 90-degree angle to that blade, it'll kind of dig in a little bit, but still it takes a bit of practice. But once you get it, it controls really well. You just got to continue the cut all the way through, and I don't think there's anything I've used that removes wood quite as well on an end grain box or bowl. So just sit back and watch for a little bit. This is kind of the fun part. So you can notice as we get deeper in the bowl, I have to orient my starting cut with the handle way over to the left. In fact, you see me move the tool rest there, and that's to get the cutting edge engaged in a bottom of the bowl where obviously I got to cut across the bottom. So you've got to get a pretty good angle across the bottom with the hook tool. Here's a wider sort of shot. You can see, the movement of the handle as you come up the side changes from far left to mid, sort of parallel to the lathe, and then actually across the lathe bed as we get up the sides. So, and I'm making this sort of an OG shape. So coming out the lip, the handle goes back to the left to finish. So left. Swing right, up the sides, and then back to the left as we go around the corner of the OG. So, yeah, it's it. There's a lot of wood removed, and it's all in curly shading. So yeah, we're getting to our final shape, just taking out the last little sort of ridges, I feel. And now we've got the Todd Raines tool half-round toolbar, the same one we used on the outside. Now we're going to scrape the inside to get rid of some minor bumps and stuff in the surface here. Again, we're kind of cutting with the grain here, pulling up from the inside to the rim. Very effective scraping tool, and even out to the bark edge with very controlled cuts. Surface looks terrific, and now we switch to the back side, and looking to make this a thin walled bowl. We've got light projecting behind, and very light cuts with the bowl gouge. I'm using the gouge to actually gauge where my wood is by just kind of hearing for the tick 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 sound, and then cutting forward. You can see now that I've pushed the light in a bit, you can see sort of the orange-red glow of the translucence of the wood, and using that as a gauge for thickness as well as my calipers every once in a while, and working down the bowl diameter. Here's an overhead shot. You can see the red of the light coming through using the point of the gouge, and now we switch to I think I switched to a detail gouge or a spindle gouge here, and finish off the very bottom of the foot. Still that light is inside. Here we got the bottom pretty much done up. Now we looking to make a parting cut, waste some of this stuff in here so we can get some access down to the bottom, and detail the foot of the bowl. This is where I use this spindle gouge and cut that little sort of cove foot with a little relief on it. Use a thin parting tool here to cut away that fungal tenon, or at least down to depth, and I'll actually stop short of cutting it free. Since it is a live edge, I can't really grab it with my hand as it rotates, so I get my little hand saw out, and I cut this free. So here I've got this reverse mounted, jam chucked against the actually against the little piece of wood that was left over, still in the chuck. So I've got it pinned, and just cutting away the final bit of the foot, and dang, look at that. Okay, bleep 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 bleep. There's a bunch of swear words, so I'm bleeping them all out. But what can you do? Well, that is really unfortunate. That's the final piece. Stay tuned for the fix. Bye for now.